Hello, my dears. Do you recognize yourself in this situation? You walk into a room and suddenly completely forget why you went in, or the name of an old acquaintance that's on the tip of your tongue but just won't come out? Or maybe it's become harder to concentrate on a book or conversation, as if your thoughts are scattering like unruly kittens. This isn't just getting older, as many tend to brush it off. Sometimes these are signals that our brain, our amazing command center, is aging faster than we'd like. Imagine the neural connections within it, like old telephone wires starting to malfunction, transmitting signals with interference and junk accumulating between the cells, preventing them from working properly. And you know what adds fuel to this fire? Some of our habits and favorite foods. For instance, white bread and sweets. They're like a firework flash, bright but quickly fading, leaving behind fatigue and brain fog. And a sedentary lifestyle? It turns our blood flow, which nourishes the brain, into a stagnant swamp. But here's the good news. Much of this can be changed, even after 65, 70, and even 80 years old. I promise you that after you try the simple tips in this video, you'll feel a surge of energy, mental clarity will return, and remembering things will become easier. No complicated diets or exhausting workouts, just accessible, understandable steps. Stay with me until the end, and let's give your brain a second youth together. 1. The sugar trap and sweet freedom. Okay, the first thing we'll focus on is sugar. Yes, the very thing that makes our tea time so cozy and our pastries irresistible. But let's be honest. How often, after a piece of cake or a few candies, do you feel not a burst of energy, but rather drowsiness and a kind of fuzziness in your head? This is that roller coaster for your brain. A sharp spike in blood sugar, followed by an equally sharp drop. It's exhausting. What to change? Gradually replace white sugar, sweets, and pastries made from white flour with natural sweets, berries, and fruits. Let me tell you Arthur's story. He's 72. Arthur loved sweets. His morning started with tea with 3 spoons of sugar and a bun, and his evening wasn't complete without cookies or waffles. He complained of constant fatigue, said his head wasn't working by lunchtime, and remembering a shopping list became a real problem. When his daughter gently suggested he try replacing sugar with berries, he initially brushed it off. Change things at my age, and what difference will a handful of berries make? He was convinced it was just old age, and nothing could be done. But his daughter persisted, and Arthur, mostly out of love for her, agreed to the experiment. He started adding a handful of frozen blueberries or raspberries to his morning porridge instead of sugar. Instead of cookies with tea, he began having an apple or a couple of orange slices. The first few days felt strange, a bit like withdrawal, as he put it. But after just a couple of weeks, Arthur noticed something amazing. The fog in his head began to lift. He stopped feeling those sharp bouts of fatigue after eating. His thoughts became clearer, and he was surprised to find he remembered not only the shopping list, but also what was discussed on the morning news. Why does this work? Berries and fruits contain fructose, but it enters the bloodstream more slowly thanks to fiber, like water from a clear stream, rather than a turbulent flood after a downpour, unlike refined sugar. This provides a stable energy level without sharp spikes and crashes. Plus, berries, especially dark ones, blueberries, bilberries, blackberries, are a treasure trove of antioxidants. They act like little defenders, fighting that very waste and inflammation in brain cells, helping to maintain cleanliness and order in our main library. You get not only improved memory and concentration, but also a more stable mood and more energy throughout the day. Try starting small. Add a handful of berries to your porridge or yogurt. Eat a piece of fruit instead of candy. Your brain will thank you. 2. The right fats, lubricant for the mind. The next important point is fats. We often hear that fat is bad, but that's not entirely true. There are fats that genuinely harm our brain, like rust corrodes metal. These are trans fats, hidden in margarine, fast food, and many store-bought baked goods. They cause inflammation and literally clog blood vessels, including those nourishing the brain. What to change? Replace processed fats, margarine, spreads, fatty fried foods, with healthy unsaturated fats, extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts, especially walnuts, fatty fish, salmon, herring, mackerel. Remember Eleanor, she's 68. She had always been an active woman, but in recent years she noticed she tired quickly and her memory was failing more often. She often snacked on the go with sausage and margarine sandwiches and loved fried potatoes. When her doctor advised her to add healthy fats to her diet, she scoffed skeptically. Avocado? Olive oil? Isn't that expensive and fatty? I've spent my whole life trying to eat less fat. She thought it was some trendy fad, far removed from her usual lifestyle. But her memory problems were becoming more bothersome, so she decided to try. Instead of margarine, she started using olive oil for salad dressings. She began adding half an avocado to her morning toast. A handful of walnuts became her favorite snack. It was hard to change habits at first, but the result was worth it. After a month or month and a half, Eleanor felt the difference. The constant drowsiness disappeared, and her concentration improved. She found it easier to find words in conversation, and it no longer felt like her thoughts were tangled like a ball of yarn. Why does this happen? Our brain is more than 60% fat. Healthy fats, especially omega-3s, found in fish and walnuts, are the building blocks for nerve cell membranes and the myelin sheath, which acts like electrical tape, protecting nerve fibers and speeding up signal transmission. Imagine bad fats are like thick, sticky grease that hinders a mechanism, while good fats are like quality oil ensuring smooth and fast movement of all parts. Healthy fats help reduce inflammation, improve blood circulation in the brain, and support its plasticity, its ability to adapt and create new connections. You get better memory, learning ability, and protection against age-related cognitive decline. A small step: dress your salad with a spoonful of olive oil instead of mayonnaise. Eat a handful of nuts, unsalted and not roasted, instead of chips. It's a simple investment in the clarity of your mind. If you're still watching this video and finding the information useful, write the number 2 in the comments so I know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect time. Subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss any new videos. All right, let's move on. 3. Movement, the river of life for the brain. Movement is life. Sounds cliche, you might say, but for our brain, it's the absolute truth. When we sit for long periods without moving, blood flows more slowly, like water in an overgrown pond. Yet, it's blood that carries oxygen and nutrients to brain cells, without which they cannot function properly. Stagnation is the enemy of mental clarity. What to change? Replace long hours sitting in front of the TV or with a book with regular, even if brief, physical activity. Walking, light exercises, dancing, swimming, gardening. Meet Robert, 75. He used to be an avid gardener, but in recent years he spent more and more time at home in his favorite armchair. He'd say his legs aren't what they used to be, and he didn't have the energy. He began noticing it was harder to follow a movie plot. He became more irritable, and simple decisions were difficult. Seeing this, his grandson suggested, "Grandpa, let's just walk around the block. Just 10 minutes. Robert resisted for a long time, grumbling it was useless. But his grandson was persistent and came every day. At first, Robert walked slowly, getting short of breath. But gradually, 10 minutes turned into 15, then 20. He started noticing details, how the trees were blooming, what birds were singing. And most importantly, after the walk, he felt more vigorous. His head felt clearer. A couple of months later, he himself looked forward to these walks and even signed up for light exercise classes for seniors at the local center. He started joking again and discussing the news with interest. How does this work? Physical activity is like a pump that makes our river of life, blood, flow faster, delivering precious oxygen and nourishment to every brain cell. During movement, a special substance called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, is produced. You could call it fertilizer for the brain. It stimulates the growth of new nerve cells and strengthens connections between existing ones. It's like building new, high-speed highways in your brain's metropolis. Regular movement improves not only memory and attention, but also mood, thanks to endorphins, helps combat stress, and improves sleep quality. You get not just physical vitality, but also mental alertness, the ability to think faster and better recall. Start today. Simply stand up and walk around the room during a commercial break. Take a 5 to 10 minute walk around your house. Put on your favorite music and dance a little. Any movement is better than none. 4. Social interaction and new knowledge, a workout for the mind. Our brain, like our muscles, needs training. If we stop using it, giving it new tasks, it starts to get lazy and weak. Monotony, routine, lack of social interaction. It's like locking an athlete in 4 walls. They quickly lose shape. This is especially felt after retirement or when children have grown up and the social circle narrows. What to change? Replace passive pastimes, like hours of watching TV alone, with active social interaction and mental stimulation, connecting with friends and family, joining interest clubs, reading, learning something new, a language, a craft, an instrument, solving crosswords, puzzles. Consider Margaret's story. She's 70. After her husband passed away, she withdrew into herself. Her days became monotonous. TV, simple chores. She became forgetful, absent-minded, often felt sad, lonely, and useless. It seemed like her life was over. A friend urged her for a long time to join her at the gardening club. Margaret resisted. What would I do there? I'm too old to go places and I don't know anyone. She was afraid of seeming out of place, embarrassed by her forgetfulness. But her friend literally took her by the hand to the first meeting. To Margaret's surprise, she was welcomed warmly. Discussing plants, sharing experiences, meeting new people, it all captivated her. She started reading books on gardening, trying to grow new flowers on her balcony. Interest and enthusiasm returned, and she noticed she was forgetting less. Her thoughts became clearer, and most importantly, her good mood and sense of fullness in life returned. Why is this important? Socializing and learning are the best exercises for the mind. When we communicate, we train our memory, recalling names, events, attention, listening to others, and speech. When we learn something new, whether it's knitting, a foreign language, or using a computer, we force the brain to create new neural connections. This is called neuroplasticity, the brain's amazing ability to change and adapt at any age. Imagine your brain as a garden. New knowledge and interaction are like a caring gardener, planting new flowers, laying beautiful paths, and preventing weeds from overgrowing the garden. You build what's called a cognitive reserve, your brain's buffer, helping it stay active longer and resist age-related changes. You gain not only a sharp mind, but also the joy of connection, new interests, and a sense of purpose. Call an old friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Sign up for a class or workshop near your home. Start solving a crossword or Sudoku puzzle. Your brain craves new experiences. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss new videos. Your support helps us continue creating useful and inspiring content for you. And now, let's keep going. 5. Sleep, the nightly reboot and cleanup. How often do we underestimate sleep, especially in older age? Old people don't need much sleep, some think. Yet, quality sleep is vitally necessary maintenance time for our brain. It's during sleep that memories are sorted and consolidated, and the brain is cleansed of toxic proteins that accumulate during the day and can contribute to memory problems. What to change? Replace chaotic sleep-wake schedules and habits that interfere with sleep, like watching the news before bed, with practicing good sleep hygiene, going to bed and waking up around the same time, creating a bedtime ritual, warm bath, reading a calm book, ensuring darkness and quiet in the bedroom, avoiding caffeine and heavy meals in the evening. David, 66, suffered from insomnia. He tossed and turned, woke up during the night, and felt drained, irritable, and constantly forgot things during the day, where he put his glasses, whether he locked the door. He attributed it to age and stress, took sleeping pills that only helped temporarily, and left him feeling groggy in the morning. He was convinced that good sleep was an unattainable luxury from his past. On his doctor's advice, he decided to try regulating his schedule. He started going to bed and getting up at the same time, even on weekends. An hour before bed, he turned off the TV and computer, listening to calm music or reading instead. He aired out the bedroom, bought blackout curtains. The improvements were slight the first few nights, but David persisted. After about 3 weeks, he noticed he was falling asleep faster, and nighttime awakenings became less frequent. Most importantly, he felt like a completely different person during the day. Energy returned, his mood improved, and he stopped constantly searching for his glasses. Why is sleep so important? Imagine your brain during the day is a bustling workshop where work is in full swing. At night, when everything quiets down, the cleaning crew, the glymphatic system, arrives to clear out all the junk accumulated during the day, those harmful proteins. If sleep is insufficient or interrupted, the cleanup isn't done properly, and the junk builds up, interfering with brain function. Furthermore, it's during deep sleep that information transfers from short-term to long-term memory, like moving important documents from an inbox folder to an archive. Good sleep is the foundation for good memory, concentration, emotional stability, and learning ability. You get not just rest, but active restoration and renewal of your brain. Create your evening ritual. Let it be something pleasant and relaxing. Give your brain the chance to rest and tidy up properly. 6. From passive observer to active participant. And last, but not least, how often do we spend time passively consuming information? For example, watching TV for hours, where images change one after another without requiring much mental effort from us. It's like sitting on a riverbank and just watching the current flow. The brain isn't really exerting itself during this time. What to change? Replace passive information consumption, especially excessive TV viewing, with active brain engagement. Games requiring strategy, chess, checkers, card games, solving puzzles, reading complex literature, learning new skills, even simple ones like a new recipe or route, journaling. Look at Susan, she's 69. After retiring, she spent a lot of time in front of the TV, flipping channels. She felt like her mind had gotten rusty, it became difficult to find words, and she'd lose the thread of conversations. She'd say, "What else is there to do? I'm just resting." It seemed to her that an active mental life was in the past, along with her job, but her granddaughter gave her a tablet and showed her how to play simple logic games and solve online crosswords. At first, Susan wasn't enthusiastic. It seemed complicated and unnecessary, but gradually she got into it. She enjoyed the feeling of solving a tricky puzzle. Then she found an online watercolor painting course, something she had dreamed of in her youth. She felt excitement and interest in life again, and she noticed she was thinking faster, finding the right words more easily, and even her mood improved. Why is active engagement so beneficial? When we give our brain non-trivial tasks, we force it to work, build new neural pathways, and be flexible. It's like a workout at the gym, but for the mind. Passive observation is like watching the river. Active engagement is like building a bridge across that river. It requires planning, calculation, effort. Every puzzle solved, every phrase learned in a new language, every strategy mastered in a game strengthens your cognitive reserve, your mental safety cushion. You train attention, logic, memory, reaction speed. You maintain mental sharpness, boost self-confidence, and enjoy the process. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Find what interests you specifically. Maybe it's assembling jigsaw puzzles, or researching your family history, or playing bridge with friends. Challenge your brain, and it will respond with gratitude. You see, my dear friends, nothing extraordinary. Swapping a bun for an apple, adding a handful of nuts, walking an extra 15 minutes, calling a friend, getting enough sleep, and solving a crossword. These are small steps that can lead to big and very pleasant changes in your well-being and mental clarity. Your brain is an amazing gift, and it possesses an incredible capacity for recovery and adaptation at any age. Don't believe those who say that after 60 or 70 it's too late to change anything. Your life experience, your wisdom, that's a huge advantage. You know yourself better than anyone. You have every right to feel good, energetic, and enjoy every day with a clear head and bright thoughts. Don't be afraid to try, to experiment, to take small steps towards your health. Your brain is your faithful ally for life. Take care of it with love and respect, and it will surely reciprocate, gifting you the joy of discovery and the fullness of sensation for many, many years to come. You can do this.